R.I.P.D. is the most recent film that I'm reviewing this year. It's a movie that you probably didn't see, but almost certainly you saw the trailer on TV about 1,000,000 times. It stars Ryan Reynolds and Jeff Bridges as supernatural buddy cops fighting ghosts. At least that's what you get from the trailer. Did you know it was based on a comic? Yep, and that comic was called Men in Black. Just kidding, it was called R.I.P.D. But you can't help but be reminded heavily of Men in Black when you see the trailer, and I'm sure that it was a huge influence on the comic itself. Basically, take 1 part Men in Black, 1 part Ghostbusters, and 3 parts soupy crap, and you have R.I.P.D. Yeah, I really wanted to like this one, because it looked like a lot of fun, and the idea of Ryan Reynolds teaming up with Jeff Bridges as an old cowboy seemed really hilarious to me. But really, this movie is actually pretty dull. Reynolds plays Nick, a cop who, along with his partner Bobby, played by Kevin Bacon, had stolen some gold that they found during a recent bust. Nick is feeling all torn up about it. He took the gold to retire from the force and have a better life with his wife. But he knows that it was wrong, so he decides to turn it in. But he tells Bobby that he's not going to rat him out or make him turn in his gold. Despite this, at the next opportunity, Bobby kills Nick by shooting him in the face. Nick is sent to the afterlife, but along the way he's pulled aside into a recruitment center for the R.I.P.D. Apparently, some souls don't ascend for whatever reason, and they wind up walking around on Earth. And they usually cause trouble. These guys are not quite ghosts, not quite zombies, they can pass for living people, and are seen by everybody around them, and nobody realizes that they're dead. Sometimes they don't even know they're dead. They're called deados, and apparently they have a strong reaction to Indian food. Nick has to be on the R.I.P.D. for 100 years because of his sins on Earth. It's basically like purgatory. He has to make up for stealing the gold, otherwise when he faces judgment, he might go to hell. He's partnered with Roy, played by Jeff Bridges, who has been on the force since the 1800s. He was an Old West sheriff who got killed and eaten by coyotes, which he reminds you about every 2 minutes. Anyway, there is a plot by the Deados that has to do with all this gold going around. They're trying to put together a golden statue that can open a portal between the afterlife and Earth and have the dead return to Earth to, have a big party or something. Nick and Roy operate like regular people, but they don't look or sound like themselves. Nick looks like an older Asian man, while Roy looks like a hot Russian model, which leads to some of the funny moments, mostly him getting hit on by horny dudes. Nick has to deal with being recently dead and moving on with his life. He's having a hard time letting go of his wife, and he tries to contact her, which is doing neither of them any favors. Anyway, R.I.P.D. doesn't lack potential. It has a great concept, a great cast, and it could have been a lot of fun. The problem? The script just sucks. It's not funny for the most part, and it repeats itself over and over. There are moments where I was sitting there watching weird shit like Mary Louise Parker biting Jeff Bridges' beard and saying, "She billy goated me." And I'm thinking, I know that's supposed to be funny, but I ain't laughing. That being said, this one is pretty much a dud. It's trying too hard to be the next Men in Black instead of having its own identity, but even as a Men in Black clone, it fails because the defining characteristic of the Men in Black movies is their humor. And this one just falls flat for the jokes for the most part. They also go through a lot of plot really quickly. After Nick dies, it seems like he's working on his first R.I.P.D. case in less than a minute. They don't really let him process anything, which might be kind of the point, but it doesn't let the audience process it either. There are some good special effects here, though most of the Deados look like video game characters. Overall, R.I.P.D. might put you to sleep. It's just not good enough to live up to its own potential, and I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10.